Hey, this is Matt once again. What about Taylor videos? Paid request this time for Broad Stipe. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 2009 film Blood Creek, which I have seen before. I remember not being that impressed with it. Watch it again. I mean, it was there. Watch it again. I can't say I hated the film, but at the same time, wasn't big on it. Probably the interest is the cast. You have Dominic Purcell, who was on the TV show Prison Break. He was Dracula in that Blade Trinity movie. Henry Cavill, well before he was Superman and Man of Steel and Justice League. And the villain's Michael Fassbender. So I guess in a way you say this is Superman versus Magneto. Just Michael Fassbender plays a German professor, or he is a professor, but he was with the Nazis, and apparently these Nazi agents back in the day in the 1930s were looking for these rune stones, and apparently these rune stones had a key for immortality. So in West Virginia in 1936, he pays his family a visit. Michael Fassbender. Cut to modern time. Henry Cavill is a paramedic. His brother, Dominic Purcell, has been missing for a while. And one day, Dominic just shows up and goes, "We need to go." "What? Where you been?" "We need to go. These guys kept me for years. Look what they did to me here, here, and here." And Henry Cavill just goes along and goes with him. They go back to the camp. Dominic wants revenge. Henry Cavill wants answers. And you come to find out that this family from the 1930s are still there. They really haven't aged much. And they can't die. And this is why it got a bit confusing. Apparently, they trapped Michael Fassbender, who is now this creature that needs to feed on blood. And in order to stop him, you just need to put like a red X, which doesn't seem that tough to do. And the family, they're controlled by Michael Fassbender, but they're not. This is why I was a bit confused, because they want the guy to starve out, but they say, well, we'll starve first more than him. So I said, well, I guess you can die if you starve to death. But why do you, as a family, give this guy victims? Like, if you have him trapped in this cellar, why are you still getting victims for him, including Dominic Purcell? Were you able to trap the guy after Dominic Purcell escaped? Or, that's what I'm trying to get this understanding of. Because they get there, and the family's like, you guys need to leave. Don't be here, it's dangerous. So it's not like the family's evil. Although the daughter's being bitchy, and I'm like, lady, Dominic Purcell's character, you had him locked up and his back cut up and to have a guy feeding on him. And that's another confusing. If it's been years, that's what it seems like. I don't know how long it's been. So has Dominic Purcell just been in this place for years? And is the creature able to feast on someone's back for years and still have Dominic be in pretty good shape? It seemed like he was in pretty good shape. This way the whole thing just kind of confuses me, the whole setup. People just say they try to explain the movie. I don't think clearly enough. Because, I'm sitting there going, he can't control the family. It's not like mind control or you do what I say. They're secured in the house, and they secure the perimeter because the guy can't escape, the creature can't escape. There's the X's and markings. And then he somehow cursed the family to not age? How? I know he did some bad. The way they say the magic is that from the runestone and feeding blood, he could bring stuff back to life. What does that have to do with making this family not age for decades? How does that correlate with each other? But there's one thing, I'm going to bring this back to life. There's one thing, this whole family, you're in a twilight zone and you don't age. And if they're not being mind controlled, because if they're mind controlled, why wouldn't the creature go, you don't need those red X's. Take that shit off so I can get the hell out of Dodge. So he's not mind controlling them. So why does the family keep giving them this creature, victims? And it's not like the guy can escape, because otherwise he would just got the fuck out of Dodge. So this one really, just why? That's what I mean. I'm just confused. And it seems like by the time our two leads get to that farm, the thing is trapped in the cellar, and they go, "Don't let him out. We have him trapped. Don't let him out." Well, when did you trap this figure in the cellar? Like, when? How long? I don't know. I didn't understand it. Didn't understand it at all. And that's kind of the flaws of it. Also, I'm sitting there going, this is directed by Joel Schumacher? This is one of the last films he did, and this could have been directed by anybody. I mean, I guess Joel Schumacher, to be fair, doesn't really have a certain visual style compared to other directors, but I just looked at 8mm, A Time to Kill, Falling Down, The Lost Boys, Flatliners. Pretty good career, may he rest in peace. I mean, what? Again, this looks like it could have been directed by anybody. So that's why I'm like, Joel Schumacher did this? So again, the whole subject matter plot is just very confusing to me. Maybe I missed a shitload of stuff. If so, I apologize. Now, Henry Cavill, I thought, did a good job. Showed a good array of emotions. While Dominic Purcell is just more of the tough, gruff guy. But I thought he did fine for what he was supposed to do here. When you see the look of Michael Fassbender's, I say creature, but his distorted, like burnt up looking face, not too bad of a makeup job. There are definitely some crazy ideas. I know there's something to do with him needing human sacrifices, but again, was the family doing this to not age? Because we need to keep him at bay, and no one else is going to do it, so we can't. Is that why they were not aging? By giving, but see, I don't know. Spoiler, there are some pretty, well, I guess one, because a good chunk of it is build up. And then there's a point where Michael Fassbender kills a horse, brings the horse back to life, and you have a zombie horse. Right, a zombie horse better than in George Romero's Survival of the Dead. Because there is some nice practical up-close shots of it breaking through the door and breaking through the window. But then there's also some shoddy CGI work, like the eyes made to look more white. Or there's a bit that someone, I think it's Henry Cavill, hits it with fire and it's on fire for A little bit on fire details, a really bad CG effect. And no matter how you do it, a zombie horse is always going to be ridiculous. What makes like a zombie cow work in Reanimator is because that film is very much humor as well as horror. It doesn't really seem to be case here. I mean, no matter how you want to work it, a zombie horse is still going to come off as comical. So pretty much the two brothers get information that this bad guy needs blood for rituals, and Henry Cavill in them gets the idea, let's poison him with the blood of his own family. So you set up these cuts on me like you did for others, and then when he feeds on me, he'll be poisoned, and we can help take him down. Well, there's a point where the two brothers separate. There's another victim who Michael Fassbender brings back to life in order to try to get into the house. So you have a little bit of just zombies, even a little bit of zombie dogs. In a way, if you rework this a bit, it almost seems like an episode of that TV show Supernatural. Granted, R-rated, but like episode of that TV show Supernatural put into a movie. I guess you could have if it was those two lead guys from Supernatural, and you make it R-rated. This could have been, two brothers going up against this force. But like I said, I'm kind of watching it, and it is a short film. It's not over long. It was interesting to see some of these guys like Henry Cavill, Michael Fassbender before they were a bit more successful and famous. Like I say, Henry Cavill doesn't do a bad job. Neither does Michael Fassbender for what he needs to do. And like I said, his figure, not too bad of a design. And maybe there's some interesting ideas with the rune stones and stuff. But again, just the whole other bits of the plot, just either I missed a bunch of shit and I should have paid attention more, or the movie didn't make it that much clearer. Broad Stipe, if you watch it, maybe if there's anything you could clear up. Because I remember I did talk to him on Facebook, and he said, yeah, there's bits that were confusing. I don't know if there was the same stuff I was confused by, or different confusing stuff. But spoilers, I like the way the two brothers kill the bad guy. They work together. He's been poisoned, and so he tries to attack Henry Cavill, but then Dominic Purcell gets some barbed wire and fucks up the bad guy's neck. The two brothers succeed. Since the curse has been lifted, the family die of old age. Yeah, it sounds like something that would happen on a Supernatural episode. Henry Cavill finds out there were 8 more of these Nazi agents, so there's 8 more farms. Now, so I guess he's going to go off by himself? While Dominic Purcell is at his family. And I didn't really understand the final shot. Because Dominic Purcell was kind of walking around the burnt remains and see this figure on the ground, this symbol. As we hear Dominic Purcell narrating, then he looks up. I'm like, is he doing that for just because to see if anything's left behind? Is that supposed to showcase that maybe he's going to try to go for this immortality? Which, if that's the case, the movie never really built up to that frame of mind for Dominic's character. I don't know what the hell that last shot's meant to be. If it's meant to be some kind of inner meaning to that final shot where Dominic looks up. Everybody didn't explain what the Nazis wanted, search for immortality. Again, does that mean he's going to try to search for immortality or he's going to try to search for that? I don't know. So I thought that was a bit weird. I think just because it was paced not too badly, and some of the acting wasn't too bad either. So those are definitely two positives that help. And there could be potential interesting ideas. It just the strip, it's very muddled. The first half is a lot of build up. If you're looking for body count, it doesn't have a big body count. There's some decent practical effects. Once in a while, a dodgy CG effect. It just sets itself up for a sequel, which of course never happened. And I just it's interesting to watch for one of Joel Schumacher's last films, but can't say I loved it either. But I didn't hate it either. It just I probably more dislike than like, but no, I have a lot of issues with it. A lot of it just didn't make sense to me. I don't know, maybe a few more passes through the script to clear up some things would have been nice. Just again, like the family, human sacrifices, but why are you giving it to this bad guy? The bad guy will kill you. Well, how is the bad guy going to kill you if he can't even get into your fucking home? Because you have all these damn signs in there. And by this point, haven't you locked him in the cellar? Or is there a way to lock him in the cellar and just put a bunch of these symbols on so he can't fucking get out? Or something else, in fact? I don't know. I don't know. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.